Get on in here, everybody. It's tea time. I have my cup of tea. I've been going through some cups today. I made a big pot of bone broth soup yesterday. Cooked all night long. And then I added more water to it this morning, and I've had 3 cups of bone broth. One at noon. About every hour and a half I'll have another one. And I'm cold, so I thought, well, I'll drink something cold, and this bone broth is to die for. Now, a lot of people don't realize that when you make bone broth, you throw everything in but the kitchen sink. I mean, I had some garlic that was starting to sprout, so I just broke it all apart. I didn't even peel the garlics. I had 2 of those and threw it in the pot, along with some backbone that Robert had gotten at the grocery store, some beef backbone, and I had a couple of veggies. I had a little piece of cauliflower, just had some good stuff from last week's hot and melt sprint, and I tossed it in that pot, and boy, is it rich. It's good. It's good for you. It warms you up on the inside, and now I've got Earl Grey tea. So everybody grab. I'm trying to stay away from fruit, but yeah, that would give it a nice little flavor. Some apple peels would give it a nice little flavor, as long as they were organic apples. Almost to Chattanooga. Where are you coming from, Gene? Anyway, so I have been working hard today. I have a teapot full of topics that y'all submitted. And I have a little wise old owl that's full of topics that y'all submitted. It was 5 pages, not 13 pages, but 5 pages. So they fit kind of nice in here. So if you have other topics you want to talk about, be sure and send them to Liz. She compiles them. Patty does too. If you send them to FlyLady at flylady.net. And when we get 200 people in here, we'll get started. Yes, we'll get started. So my bone broth just smells so wonderful. The house smells good. You know, just when you got something cooking on the stove, it makes your house feel lived in and comfortable. And you're telling your family, that you love them. And nothing says I love you like dinner on the table and a clean toilet and clean underwear in your drawers. So clean drawers. That's a southern pun. Yep. Clean underwear. I got something in my eye. So get on in here, everybody. We shall get started. I think I shall draw something out of my teapot today. I'm going to dig around in here. Just put on a pot of beans. Ooh-wee, that sounds good. So, teapot has been utilized. I'm moving the wise old owl up for tomorrow, so we'll be ready. And I'm opening up our little topic. Ooh, it's a long one. How to prepare for an emergency, such as power outages from bad weather events. And Houston is getting hit. Houston, you have a problem. 24 inches of rain. So we have to, and Houston is good. They're used to storms. They had 58, 59 inches of rain a couple years ago with Harvey, and they survived. It wasn't easy, but they survived. And preparing for an emergency. You know what preparing for an emergency does? It keeps you calm. Having food in the house keeps you calm. Having a backup way to cook, either a grill outside. Do not bring a grill inside. You hear me? Do not bring a grill inside. You have to have a place to cook outside or in your garage. But if you've got a flood or something, and you may need to evacuate. So you've got to be prepared for 2 things. for staying at home, like in a winter storm and you can't get out of your house, or for evacuation purposes. Forest fires, we have that all over the country. So how to prepare for an emergency? You got to put together, number one, your go bag. You need a go bag. And your go bag contains the things that you need with you. Your medications, your children's, a children's toy if you've got kids, children's food. And you'd have to check this thing every 3 months to make sure things aren't outdated. The stuff you're going to need, and you're going to want maybe a deck of cards or a game that they can play, one of those little card games that you can play if you get evacuated, some to pass the time, a little portable radio for emergencies. There's lots of things you can put in your bag. Main thing you've got to pack is your patience. And I have these 11 points of preparedness, and it's on our website. And if somebody could grab that and put a link in, just pull up the 11 points of preparedness for evacuation or an emergency, and you'll find the things that you need to do. You need petrol. You need your gas. This is why we fill our cars up with fuel on the weekends to be ready always. Whenever you hit a half a tank, fill it up, because that way you never are running on fumes. When you run on fumes, you run the risk of running out of gas, and that's not fun. So gather up those items that you need. Portable phone chargers are really great things to have. I have a backup case that goes on my phone that is a charging case. So I usually take that with me places, and I do have some backup batteries. But here is one of the best things you can buy for yourself. And I gave Leanne one as a housewarming gift. But it's a $49 thing from Amazon that will boost your car off, but it'll also charge your devices. It will charge things. You can boost the car off if you need that, but it will charge your iPad, your phones, your everything. It will charge it all. And for several days, it holds that much power. And all you do is plug it up to a USB port, and it charges itself. So keep it ready to go. I have one in my truck right now. When I gave her one, I had to get me another one. So, because her electricity went out and she didn't have a way. And it's huge, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to know that you have backup. You have backup. I have a phone line in my house that is not electrical. I have an old-timey Princess phone in our bedroom. It rings when the power's out. It's good that way. I can make an emergency phone call without having to worry about pinging off of a tower somewhere. And knowing that you have these things in your house. I have a crank radio that I could listen to the radio on. We have a backup generator, but guess what? There have been times that the generator didn't work, and you're still stuck. Now, when our generator doesn't work, we don't have water. We don't have water to flush toilets. So let me give you some handy-dandy little ideas here. If you have a box of kitty litter, we have cats, so we always have an extra box of kitty litter around. You can take trash bags and put over your toilet and put some, make sure it's flushed and there's nothing in there. And you can use the toilet as your portable toilet, and you just put some trash bags over it and throw kitty litter in on it. And you don't have to put a new one in each time. Get a garbage can where you can wrap them up and tie them up and put them in the trash can. And you can do the same thing with a 5-gallon bucket when you're camping. I've known people who have put a toilet seat on a 5-gallon bucket so that they have a bed. What did they call them in old timey days? In their bedroom, they called it. They had a name for that, and I used to know it, and I'll have it a Biden moment. So let's just kind of We all have those moments. I don't know why people are picking on him. So, what is that thing called? A chamber pot. Chamber pot. Chamber pot. Yeah. So, you make your own little chamber pot. You don't have to go dump it outside, but you can put some kitty litter in and then put more kitty litter in, have a little scoop and do the kitty litter. And you're prepared. You're prepared to have a way to dispose of the things that are nasty. Then you need water. For sometimes we have been out as much as 3 days, and mainly for floods. One time before we had a generator, we were out for 3 days for a flood, and when that happens, we have to have what we needed water to flush toilet. I didn't know this little hint back then, but having a bathtub that you can close off and hold water, if you know a storm is going to happen, you can get some big heavy-duty contractor bags and put them in your bathtub and fill one up at a time so that they're kind of together, and then seal off the top of them, and that'll hold water in the tub if your tub won't hold water. Another thing you can do is, if your tub holds water, fill it up with water. And put a bucket in it, and you can use that to flush your toilets. So there's easy things to do when your water goes out, and easy things to do. But I've got a supply of water on a basement shelf, and I have these little light bulbs in my house. I gave Leanne a bunch of them because you never know when your power's going to go out, and we don't have lights in the basement. But you need to get down in the basement, so I have one right on the fire extinguisher by the back door. By the basement door. So it's just a kind of, wow, that puts a lot of light where it's needed, isn't it? It goes flashing light, and there it is. So having the things you need, it doesn't take much. You can get a lot of things at the dollar store. Buckets under gutters, yeah, that'll catch you some water. That'll catch you some good water. I don't know that you could drink it, but Justin has this life filter big thing that he can hang up in a shower full of water that he could put snow in or something if he wanted to. When he went to Peru on a mission trip, he and a couple of families went to Peru to do to build an orphanage. He took this life filter bag and he filtered all the water they drank and they brushed their teeth with, all of it, so that they didn't get Montezuma's revenge. So being safe in a storm and being safe when you travel is always good. When I travel, I always have a life straw with me. It's in my go bag. So, and they're not expensive. So everybody, be just thinking about what you need and having emergency food that just needs boiling water put in it. It's full of carbs. Don't get me wrong. It is full of carbs. But, when you're hungry, and your kids get hungry, and they can have carbs, but it's still a great way. And I also do this other thing. I take gallon water jugs and pour about a third of it out and freeze that with my frozen food in the freezer. And then I lock the freezer door so that it cannot be opened without the key. So you don't want somebody with the power out opening up the freezer door trying to figure out what they're going to grab out of there. You don't want to do that because you're losing. A freezer will hold its content if it's got some ice in it to help hold the meats and stuff. So that's not fun to come back. And here's another thing you can do. Take a plastic cup, red Solo cup works, anything like that, and fill it up 3/4 of the way full with water and let it freeze. And then if you're going to be away from the house, put a quarter on top of it. Just leave a quarter sitting on top of this cup of water. And it could be a small cup. It doesn't have to be a big cup, but you put this quarter on top. And if your freezer thaws up and you've been evacuated and you don't know that your power has gone out, and I have an announcement from Duke Power that tells me when my power's gone out. But if it thaws up, the quarter will drop down into the water, and it'll be in the bottom or halfway through or whatever, and you'll know that your power has gone out. So it's these little things that keep you safe. Well, that's just great minds think alike, Valerie. They really do. Put the quarter on the frozen stuff and you'll know. Have you forgotten? I haven't forgotten my tea. I have it right here, but I haven't had a drink yet. So let's drink to being safe in a storm and being prepared so that we're patient. We're patient. I like to think of myself as Laura Ingalls Wilder when from Little House on the Prairie, when there's a storm, I get into cooking mode. We have a fireplace, and Robert built me this wonderful grate for my fireplace that I can cook on, that I can put a coffee pot on, I can put an iron skillet, I can put a Dutch oven on. I can cook. I get into cooking mode. I put on a pot of beans, like somebody said a while ago, and just keep it rolling. If you've got the stuff to make bone broth soup, you just put on a big old pot. And I also have a big pot that I can keep on there full. It's like a 16-gallon stainless steel stock pot, but I can keep hot water boiling all the time. So being prepared, I just get into little house mode and start nesting. Just start nesting. And really, we have a good time with it. I have a fine time. We're not worried. We check on our neighbors, and we have a neighbor next door. She's in a wheelchair. We have neighbors this side that are older folks, and we check on them and take care of things. So that's what you got to do when you live out in the country. Everybody takes care of each other. I mean, last year we had a bad storm and we couldn't get out, but our neighbor was really sick and he was in hospice, and they needed firewood, so Robert got in the gator and took them some firewood and cut up some wood for them. And stuff happens, and you have to take care of your neighbors. So let's see, I've gone a little long. Keep soda bottles from the holidays, and when I make punch, I put water in it. That's a great idea, Tracy. You know that it's water in there, and you don't have to fill it up all the way, and that way I have powdered milk in my freezer in case we need milk for something. Not that I drink milk, but Robert uses milk for cereal and stuff. So I have powdered milk. I have chicken that can be cooked easily. I have the ability. I could cook up a storm because I have food in the house. I have a stocked pantry. Having a stocked pantry keeps me calm. I put ice cubes in a Ziploc, and then when the power goes out, if it's melted, they know. But my thing with this cup, you might forget what's in the Ziploc bag. You won't forget this cup with a quarter on top. The topic was being prepared for emergencies. That was, camping gear, but you can't use a gas cook stove in the kitchen. You can't do that in the house. You could get carbon monoxide poisoning. And you need a carbon monoxide detector in your house. Yep. You need and then earthquakes, I grew up in earthquake country. I used to keep a boat tied up to my house. A boat. In case the river started flowing my direction, I could hop in the boat and ride the wave. Honest to God, I did it. Honest. Yeah, so Use what's in your refrigerator, freezer first as much as possible. Well, I love you all. I will see you tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. We will be talking about date night and family fun day and renew your spirit. You need, it's not so much a fire alarm, it's a carbon monoxide detector. Yes, it's a carbon monoxide detector. And they're inexpensive. You can get them. So everybody have a good rest of the day. And I love you all. You've given me purpose in my life. So call a neighbor, check on people. If you're in a storm area like Houston, check on your neighbors. It's always good. See y'all later.